Hello, friends, and welcome back to TJKidz Super Fun Stories, where imagination becomes reality. And happy Memorial Day! I hope you all had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Speaking of Memorial, today is a very exciting day because Captain Greenbeard has finally agreed to tell us the story of how he became, well, Captain Greenbeard. And yes, we're even going to find out how his beard turned green. Isn't that right, Captain?
That be true, TJ. 'Tis a tale of darkness mixed with courage. A tale so fearsome, it'll chill ye straight to the bone.
Okay. Remember, we're telling this to kids and families, so let's keep it friendly.
Fine. But just so ye know, a pirate's life ain't exactly family friendly. It be filled with danger, treasure, sea monsters, battles.
All right, Captain Greenbeard, we get it. You're a true pirate. How about we just get to the story?
Aye then, grab a cozy spot, ye landlubbers. This be the tale of how your Captain Greenbeard became the most feared captain of the seven seas, and how me beard turned green. I be just a young captain back then, hadn't yet wet me beak with me first treasure. Back in those days, I weren't known as Captain Greenbeard. No, back then, I was known as Captain Gus.
Wait. Gus? That's your real name?
Quiet ye. It's Captain Greenbeard to you. Anyway, me ship was the Nightfall, finest vessel on the seven seas. If ye ignored the leaks, the rusty chain plates, and the fact that she turned left whenever she felt like it, me crew be counting on me to lead 'em to golden paradise. We landed on a new island. No footprints, no voices, just palm trees, coconuts, and sand. As I wandered about, I spotted it, a giant axe carved into the land. Dig ye scallywags, I ordered. They dug for hours, sweat flying, shovels clanking, complaints growing, until finally, bang! We struck treasure. A chest bigger than a whale's belly, filled with gold coins, fancy goblets, crowns, jewels, enough treasure to make a king jealous. Night fell, and that's when the trouble began. The crew wanted their share of the booty right then and there. But I told them, treasure stays locked up till we reach safe waters. They didn't like that, especially me first mate, Blacktooth. Later that night, while I be sleeping peacefully, dreaming of swimming in a pool of gold coins, Blacktooth gathered the crew. They tied me hands behind me back, dragged me to the plank, and declared mutiny.
But shouldn't you have just divided the treasure? I mean,
like I said, I was planning to. I just wanted to get to safe waters first. But these baby pirates couldn't wait that long. Anyway, they forced me to walk the plank against me will. But your Captain Greenbeard dove heroically off that plank arms tied, but spirit unbroken.
I heard you beg them to let you stay and even offered to take a smaller share of the treasure.
Nonsense! Lies! You've been listening to that black-toothed scallywag. Now pay attention. I splashed into the sea, and moments later, sharks began circling me. Hundreds of them. Great demons of the deep. But your Captain Greenbeard never fears. I reached down behind me back, pulled the knife from me boot, and sliced me ropes free, just as the sharks began to close in. "Back, ye grey demons!" I shouted, waving me sword. "Ye be in the presence of greatness!" I swung wildly, and the sharks hesitated. They weren't sure what they were up against. That's when I saw it. A small island in the distance. I swam for it with all me might. I reached the island. Grey, smooth, no trees, no grass. Strangest island I ever saw. Then it started moving. Aye, me thought, must be an earthquake. But no, the whole island rose up beneath me. It weren't an island at all. It was a whale, a massive blue-grey beast, bigger than any ship I'd ever seen. I clung to its back for dear life as it swam across the sea. Hours later, I spotted land, a real island this time. I dove off the whale and swam 3 miles to shore. As I got closer, I saw her, the most beautiful mermaid I'd ever laid eyes on. Golden hair, shimmering tail, eyes like pearls. I swam faster, certain I'd found me future wife.
A mermaid? Really?
Aye, or so I thought. Me eyes were blurry. I'd been swimming for miles, barely breathing. I crawled onto the sand, reached out to kiss her hand. Wham! She bit me right on the nose. Turns out it weren't a mermaid at all. It was a sea lion. A blasted, whiskery-nosed, biting savage she was. I passed out right there on the sand. When I awoke, I searched the island for food. Nothing. No coconuts, no fruit, no fish. Just seaweed. Slimy, stringy, salty seaweed. So I choked some down. Little did I know I'd be eating that same seaweed for months. Seaweed stew, seaweed soup, seaweed sandwiches, seaweed surprise. The surprise was that it was still seaweed. Day after day, month after month, and slowly me beard began turning green. I thought maybe I was turning into some sort of seaweed monster. Your Captain Greenbeard needed off that island, and soon, before it be too late. One night, a storm hit, lightning crashing down like cannon fire, trees exploding into splinters, and that's when your Captain Greenbeard had an idea. I'll build myself a ship. For months I worked, chopping, hammering, tying, sweating. until finally I built the first version of the Black Thunder. She weren't big nor pretty, but she floated. I used old cloth I found tangled in the rocks for sails. Smelled like rotten fish, but it caught the wind. One brisk night, when the wind was just right, I set sail. I'd been sailing for hours with no sign of land, when I spotted some food. A fish be jumping in the water like it was begging me to eat it. I dove in to grab it and landed in a cloud of glowing plankton. When I climbed back aboard, something bright be glowing around me face. I put down me fish dinner and sniffed the night air. Something was near. That's when me saw a ship approaching. 'Twas the nightfall. Blacktooth and a mutinous crew. They saw me glowing, bright as a lantern, and screamed, "Ah, a ghost! He's come to claim his treasure! It's Captain Greenbeard!"
Wait a minute. So they called you Captain Greenbeard? They just made that name up?
Well, I suppose so. Till that moment, they only knew me as Captain Gus, the captain they'd mutinied and left for dead. I looked down at me beard, and sure enough, it was still green. 'Twas glowing bright green. As I approached the nightfall, they all jumped overboard in fear and swam for their lives. So I boarded the ship and reclaimed me vessel.
So you're telling me that they all just jumped off the ship into the water? They were afraid of you? Wouldn't they drown in the middle of the ocean?
Well, that's what they did. Pirate honor, it's the truth. They thought I was some sort of ghost, coming to reclaim his lost treasure. Little did they know it was just me, their former captain. Turns out, there was land nearby that I hadn't noticed before. They swam to an island, and I reclaimed me ship and sailed on. Though I didn't realize at the time they had taken all the treasure with them. Thieving scallywags they were. Anyway, I renamed the ship the Black Thunder, and from that day forward, I was known as Captain Greenbeard, the most feared pirate of the seven seas. But after that mutiny, I swore I'd never trust another pirate crew again. From then on, I sailed alone. No crew at me back, save for one loyal feathery friend I'd meet later. And Captain Blacktooth? Bah! That traitor became me lifelong nemesis, destined to clash till the seas run dry. As for me first mate Gully the parrot, I didn't meet him till later, on an island full of bird-eating savages. That was when I rescued him, and we became best friends. Isn't that right, Gully?
Right, it's true. Best friend and trusty first mate.
Oh yeah, you talked about that in your story, Captain Greenbeard's Turkey Tale, didn't you?
Aye, that be the one, TJ. A tale of danger, heroism, and true friendship. Anyway, that be the end of me story. I be off to the Black Thunder. So long, landlubbers. Until next time.
And that, friends, is the end of Captain Greenbeard's story about becoming Captain Greenbeard. What a journey! Treasure, mutiny, sharks, whales, sea lions, storms, and glowing plankton. Captain Greenbeard may be a little crazy, but his stories always carry a good lesson. This one reminded me that sometimes life takes you to places you never expected. And even the hardest moments can shape you into who you're meant to be. Courage, creativity, and a little bit of luck can turn even the wildest challenges into new beginnings. Well, that's it for today, friends. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next one. Toodles!